Rooted in resilience, inspired by nature, powered by movement. The podcasts where healing meets empowerment. Let's rise and thrive together. And now, here are your hosts, Scott and Melissa.
Hey, everybody. We just wanted to pop in and let you know about our Sedona Soul Retreat coming up in June of 2026, June 2nd through the 6th in Sedona, Arizona, where we're going to have it at.
The Briar Patch.
Briar Patch.
Beautiful. It's just this amazing little nugget.
Yeah.
In Sedona, where you think the big red rocks, which you'll see those, of course, but then there's this little sanctuary of green. And one of my dear beings that just shared with me this morning that they will be attending, looked it up and was like, "Oh, that's my place."
Yeah.
They just felt the connection, and it's very spiritual energy there, and we're excited for holding space for all of us to be in that frequency, that vibration.
It's right on Oak Creek, and we were down there just a few weeks ago checking it out to ensure it was the right fit for our folks. And we are excited about this retreat. It's our second retreat, and we're on our way to selling out. So please check it out at Vital Edge Wellness Coaching Wellness Retreats. You'll see it at vitalwellnesscoaching.com, Wellness Retreats, and sign up. Bring a friend. There's plenty of room. If you'd like double occupancy, you can come down, and we have private cottages and a lodge setting. So that's it.
It's exciting.
Enjoy the podcast.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
Welcome to Vital Edge Wellness Coaching's Rise and Thrive podcast. I'm here with my host, Melissa, and we're excited to talk to you today about movement.
And that's Scott.
And I'm Scott. She has to remind me of my name.
Well, and something we've been thinking about too is we also want to share that, we have Vital Edge together and Scott's other coaching and optimal living.
That's right. Those are our core businesses because, we don't have anything else going on. So we just work.
We love what we do. That's the thing. It is our life. It is our life's work.
So let's ground.
Yeah.
And do a little grounding for our life's work.
Yes. I have a simple technique to bring to you today and encourage you. I just actually did this at a speaking event last week with a group of people, and I recorded a snippet for a monthly meeting for a clinic for mental health specialists and doctors that did this at the beginning of their monthly meeting.
Nice.
So do know you're doing something that just takes seconds, and we'll do that right now. So sit in a comfortable space. Maybe even if you're driving, even if you're on a treadmill, even if you're going for a walk right now, totally accessible to do this. So eyes can be opened or closed.
Unless you're driving.
Yes. Or on a treadmill. That'd be kind of challenging. So take a nice big sigh and let that sigh come from the belly, not the chest. So that inhale starts in the belly. And then just let it out. And relax your jaw and soften your. So before we start to fiddle with the breath a little bit, just notice that you are breathing. Just a sensation of the inhale on the inner walls of your body and the exhale. And then as you did with that sigh, let the inhale begin in the belly, the area below the rib cage. So inhale there. And then with the exhale, bring your awareness to the base of your skull and exhale down your spine to your tailbone. And that exhale can be out your nose or mouth, whatever's most comfortable. And just continue that pattern for a few moments here. We'll do that together. You'll inhale in the area below the rib cage. And then exhale down the spine. This could just be a regular breath. Doesn't need to be too long and deep. Good. One more time, that gentle inhale into the rib cage. Follow that exhale down the spine to your tail. Very soothing to the vagus nerve and a nice calming effect to your nervous system to come into your backside of your body in those few moments. So you are welcome to open your eyes. And I encourage you anywhere, anytime, you just need to reground, is to just take that inhale and breathe down your spine. Brings you back into your presence.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Namaste.
Namaste. Now, if you're still with us,
Hopefully you didn't nod off.
Yeah, or maybe you needed that.
Yeah, maybe you did. A little siesta moment. My tea.
We're going to talk about movement today and the beautiful ability that our bodies have that we take for granted. Maybe you don't take it for granted if you have movement issues, from getting up from the chair to laying down to moving across a room. We take these, like the breath, like the breath we take for granted until it's brought up. And, I wrote down notice on my notes because I want to ask some of my coaching clients, what do you notice that you notice on a consistent basis?
Yeah.
And today it's about movement. So what do you notice about how you notice your movement, and why is movement important?
Well, I always like to start too, is just to plant the seed that your body's meant to move. And it's because of us that it doesn't. Our life. And again, this is not negative and not putting anybody down. It's the conditions of our culture. And especially in our town that we live in, it is not conducive to walking places. It's really meant for cars to get here and there. I just remember traveling to Europe, amazing trip, to see my daughter over there. And one day, 27,000 steps. It was a shock to my body. I was like, I'm fit. I exercise, I do all these things. And then I was like, holy hell. Because I don't do that here at home. So anyways, I want to start with the premise that your body's meant to move. And when we just offer that to our thoughts, I think it could add to the noticing. It adds to notice, like, how am I moving and how am I not moving? And that's the awareness piece of realizing, if you have that premise of my body's meant to move and you start to notice, it starts to open you to ways that you can support your body to move and thrive.
Don't you first notice that this sucks? I don't want to be moving. I mean, that's honestly a notice, right? If you're not used to it, you're not going to get off the couch and go run a 5K, and then you notice you don't want to do that again. So
I think a lot of people have that moment right there, whether it's like, oh, I don't want to do that again, but I know I need to, because there's this intuitive feeling like I need to get my body moving through this. And then there's others that there's maybe not enough hook that was so uncomfortable that then avoidance happens. And it's like, I'm not going to do that again, and go find another distraction.
Yeah. Well, before we came on, you were talking about the intrinsic and extrinsic motivations of exercise.
Yeah. And we live in a culture that's extrinsically motivated. Like, how do I look like? What do I look on the outside? I still remember way back in my training studio days, oftentimes we would get people wanting to look a certain way for a cruise, or, get me a personal training package that'll get me, and I really then developed a passion from there, and on my own personal journey, that I wanted to help as many people as I can break that connection, that exercise is a punishment. Exercise is a way to manipulate my body and force it to be a certain way, how I think it should be. And that the way we think it should be is based off of what we've been exposed to in our culture to think we should look like and show up. So I have this deep-hearted passion to help people break that. But it is a journey. It's a journey to, from that extrinsic motivation, sometimes we have to start there to get to the intrinsic, to realize that,
Give us an example of intrinsic.
Intrinsic is that knowing that it feels good, feels empowered, feels strong. I'm going to say it. I started doing CrossFit years. I got exposed to it in 2006. Started training it within the studios. got certified in 2009. It flipped a switch for me because prior to that, it was the bodybuilding paradigm. I want my biceps to look a certain way. I want my lats. I want my quads. I want to have my weight a certain way. And it was control. When I got exposed to, so I'm, ringing the bell for CrossFit it's just a label. But if you take CrossFit away, the title is functional movement. And so when people come to see me in my private practice, I talk about, being a functional movement specialist, because it's helping your body move in a way it was meant to move, and feel good about that. And so the shift for me was back at that time is mine started out very extrinsically at a very young age. We can go into that in a moment. We'll ask the question. But the intrinsic was, I feel empowered. I feel strong. If I can go grab a bar and pull myself up, that's not just physical strength. That was confidence. That was, stability in my body, that I could go lift something. I could go do what I needed to do physically, but mentally, emotionally, I felt more capable. And it was just, and I've of course, as you know, as some of you watching, I passed it on to my daughter, and I love watching her break some of those patterns of, the low self-esteem and the different things that have happened because of our culture and influences, all that, to then feel empowered and want to just get stronger. To me, that's intrinsic. It's want to take care of this body. It isn't for a particular outcome or result. It's just to care for your body. And when this body's meant to be strong and capable for its life's journey, not just for a duration when you want it.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my intrinsic. So for you, when did it, if we were to talk about that, did you have a path from that exercise started to be part of you, or when you were little? Like, I know you've shared, like, you were out all day riding bikes. So it was just normal to move your body. When did exercise show up as something?
Yeah, I've always been hit and miss. I played some sports. I wasn't very good at any sport in grade school, junior high, and high school. I loved to cross country run. I did cross country running. I really enjoyed that. But and I loved basketball, but I was terrible. I was terrible at basketball, and I never was interested in football. I was always a small kid, and it really interested me. But most of my exercise came from living in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Splitting wood.
Yeah, life function. Yeah.
Moving rock. We had
functional movement.
We had so much rock on our property that had to be moved all the time, with and gardening and building and all the things we had to do on our little acreage out in the country. And that made me strong and taught me resilience and pushing through, that I now apply sort of to my workouts. But I think that I really started understanding the effect of exercise on my whole being through running later in life. Because honestly, I didn't have time to work out or made any space for it in my first career. Worked in the restaurant business, late nights, partying, and,
Yeah, so I want to catch that. Can I catch that?
Catch what?
It's not that you didn't have time to exercise.
No.
You just didn't.
I'm getting to that.
Right. But I'm just I want to point that out for people.
Yeah.
That is such a common phrase I hear when people say it.
Totally.
But he followed it up with being like, well, I didn't create the time.
No.
And that's what I want to.
There was no room in that period of my life.
Pattern of your life.
Yeah. And that's a whole other story. But I started creating room. And once I gave it enough space and I started running and getting outdoors, and of course I was very active in the outdoors, hiking and climbing mountains. And that was my motivation to exercise, was I got to be better because I don't want to be tired.
For the life functional movement that you were going to,
and life-saving movement.
I was going to say yours is like, you're hit the edge of the adrenaline on the, like I never climbed mountains, So yours was actually very applicable to your function that you wanted to do.
And as a benefit, I looked better and I felt better.
Mm-hmm.
And, now I'm in my 60s. Hard to believe I'm saying that out loud, and that same routine doesn't work anymore. I've had to change that over the decades to accommodate. So it's just is an evolving process. And I know your philosophy is just begin. You don't have to
Right.
do all
Adapt
of it.
whatever you,
Yeah. And just begin moving.
meet your body where it's at.
And I do think about, of course, yoga. I do yoga. I've been doing yoga so long now that I'm seeing the benefits of those decades ago starting processes. I'm like,
Just keep
oh my
showing up
gosh.
to the mat. Yeah.
So I'm on a bowling league. I'll tell this little story. I mean, don't think I told you, but I was sitting down on a squat position, watching my teammates bowl. And one of the employees came up to deliver some food to somebody. And she looked at me and she goes, I could never get up. How, and then someone else came over and they're like, how are you sitting there? And I'm just sitting squat position.
Stretching, yeah.
So yeah, I'm stretching. I'm getting my back stretched out. And and I realized 60 years old, if I hadn't been doing yoga since my late 20s, early 30s, I don't think I could do that. I remember how tight I was, but it's such an incremental change. You don't notice it until something like that shows it to you. And I think it's exactly the same with exercise. I loved hearing that feedback, but I also realized how many of those folks, I want them to feel that way.
Right. Well, and that's why I think we brought the topic up today, is because what Scott said earlier too, is we take it for granted, but then we take it for granted that we have come to this space of an intrinsic exerciser where it's part of our life and we move and we've dedicated to it. We don't realize that that's uncommon for many. I mean, I get reminded. We get reminded that most people are shocked that you're moving or you're doing that. And that's why we want to bring it to support you, is just move, meet your body where it's at and do it safely. And
how do you
join me for yoga classes?
Yeah.
Functional movement. Yeah.
How do you get people started?
Well, that's it.
Like the people who came up to me and said, I couldn't do that. Right. And they were your client. How would you advise them?
I would tell them to come see me weekly. I do Zoom classes and I'd have them come, because what I feel I offer is very, inclusive. Nobody feels left out, and I'm supporting people to meet their body where it's at. I've been teaching since '99 yoga, and lots of adaptations. So you could feel like, okay. And then what I love seeing is I just got an email, about 2 weeks ago from one of my beings that in my adaptive chair-based class that I teach, I make them do squats every week. This particular five, just only 1, 2, 3, sometimes a little bit more because I don't count. And I got a message from her. I'm not going to be there. Can I get the recording? And she goes, I just have to tell you, I can't, the squats mean so much. She had to go take care of her mom who fell and broke her ankle. And she goes, I didn't realize those 5 squats are doing anything until she had to use it. And it's amazing that we think we have to do like, oh, if I do a little bit, it's not enough and I need to do all this. And, I want to let go of the needs and the shoulds and just support people to start and reach out to people like us that can, not that we've got it figured out. We just want to support you so that you feel that confidence to get enough of a leg up to where now, oh, this is what I do. This is part of my day. I'm just taking care of your body in this way. It's not the other way around where we do everything else. And if you have time, then you move the body.
Yeah, because this fits nicely into our whole premise of this podcast and Vital Edge Wellness Coaching, which is nutrition, movement, mindfulness. Those things all have to be together. They don't work as efficiently if one component is missing. Yeah. And my one component is easy to put off. It's easy to get caught up in what you're doing and I'll take it from me, what I'm doing in my office and blow past my workout time.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you honestly, what gets in my way is my eating pattern. Because I'll either work too long and miss my workout time, and then I'm starving now. I don't want to work out and I'm starving, or I'll eat and I'm like, well, I can't work out now. So it doesn't take, I'm telling the audience who only knows this, it doesn't take much for you to get kicked off your routine.
Yeah.
Same as mindfulness. It's easy to skip that too.
Right. Because we're good about putting that on the back burner. I was just sharing something with Scott before we started. This little doctor, said this little quote.
Little doctor said a big quote.
A big quote. That, we, in our culture, our society, we will not miss work, but we will, to pay bills, but we will miss our workout, which keeps us alive. So see the priority difference?
Seems a little backward, doesn't it?
Right. That's why we're listening together today to say, hey, what do I do for movement? It's like Scott began with, let's notice, start to notice. I remember when I felt so, what do I want to say, sedentary. And I just started to weave it in the mindfulness. When I get up in the morning, I would say, I'm going to have an active day. I'm going to have an active day. And that just kind of started to spread through my day, that I'd catch myself sitting a little too long or this or that. And then structured movement, such as coming to yoga class, and weaving in, and that's what I weave together, is the functional movement and yoga and mindfulness and all that, so that you can, what I was saying earlier about, like, because I do have the foundational functional movement CrossFit style, is that you start to feel empowered, just like my client shared. And then she keeps showing up. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is feeling good in my body. I am, just like one of our clients from our last retreat. We nudged him to have to go up quite a few stairs, but we adapted to that and started building strength. And
He wasn't the only one, by the way.
he was, yeah. It was like, again, it was like when I went to Europe, it was like the 27,000 steps one day. It's a shock to the system a bit. But when we have to do it to function, like when you had to do it on the farm and cut the wood, like you do that. And this individual got stronger. And now I'm seeing, since they've returned, new thoughts come in of things they want to do, and creativity comes up. And when Scott was saying at the beginning, like, if you don't want to move, it's too much, like, oh, this hurts. You're so focused on just getting functioning done through the day that you have to do that creativity gets snuffed out to decide, oh, I want to try to get on my bike again. I want to go for a hike, or I want to, go on some, for many of us, on some uneven ground.
Yes.
Because we walk on flat. So anyways, I derailed there a little bit, but where are we going?
Well, I want to weave in the nature component to this. When you're getting daylight, we have sunlight today, but we're in that time of the year where we don't have a lot of sunlight, and you're getting grounded. That is also a benefit to your entire ecosystem as a person. And I have to mix it up. I can work out I have a garage gym, and so I can work out there, but I have got to get outdoors. And so I get outdoors every morning and walk and start my day that way. And I know you do too. So that I'm during the winter months, I get out a little less, but I'm still getting fed in that way. And so find ways to incorporate nature into your movement, micro movements. Your standing desks are very good for you rather than just sitting all day. And I think when we talk micro, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not just, less lifting, but also what am I doing every moment of the day to move my body?
Well, I think that's where it begins, right? The noticing, and the little movements begat more movements, and more of that creativity, more of that desire,
Craving
to move. And ultimately, I mean, we have lots of podcasts in one here, because your health depends on the strength of your body, and muscle is needed. And if we don't use it, we lose it. So, yes, getting in nature, yes, starting to see the mindful movements, and then realizing that weight-bearing exercise is gold in the bank.
Yeah.
And so, we're here to help you do that. If it feels overwhelming, it feels like, where do I start? Just like Scott said, is you start with noticing your movements through the day and reaching out for support. A little meditation moment this morning, and I was thinking about a thought. I've had a lot of solo time in my life, figuring myself out, figuring out what I do. And I realize there's peace that I want to nourish more, is that realization that we're not meant to do this alone. And we can learn all these tools, and but the tools only go so far when you're by yourself, a human being, another ecosystem, breath, rhythm, nervous system. So that's why people get, I think of Maddie, my daughter she coaches, and there's one group, they'll know who I'm talking about, but they have just become this 1 hour of the day that they all get together and they work out together, and they have created when you work out together, there is an emotional connection that builds. There's a bond, because when you're sharing sweat, I can go into that, but later. And it's been beautiful to see, and they've kind of incorporated my daughter, their coach, as part of their fun and the laughter. Maddie spent some time with them last night all together outside of the gym, and she came home with just glowing and telling me that she has not laughed that hard in so long she could hardly breathe. That's what exercise and moving your body and feeling that empowerment
Has the potential.
has the potential. So, we're hearing a lot, especially, in my health and nutrition stuff coming our way, is that all of these things are great, but solo, no, coming together as a community, going in nature, all of those things, they're not standalone. You can't just go work out and hope you've got it checked off the list now. It's all the pieces, and the nutrition, the everything to care for your body. It's flipping what I shared, not the little doctor, but the doctor said, the flipping that I'm not just alive to go to work to pay bills. I'm alive to be in this body and care for it.
Thrive.
And one of the things is that it's meant to move. And if you leave with anything today, is to walk away with that, to say, my body's meant to move. And I'm going to start to notice. I'm going to start to notice how am I moving it? How am I caring for it in this way? And if I need some support, I'm going to reach out and start to look for it and bring it into your universe to take some action steps there.
Yeah, you can check out Melissa's site at Optimal Living.
Salem.com.
OptimalLivingSalem.com, and we'll put in the show notes so you can see what kind of offerings she has to help you get started. I know she's worked with family members of mine, friends of mine, and it has made a massive difference in these practices. And you have to have movement as medicine and movement for presence, and make it an everyday practice. So you can be thinking about this for yourself in terms of medicine, presence, and practice. That might be a great way to just start thinking differently about it, and then engage with someone to help you fill in those rungs to those ladders and help you get started. And that's our goal. No matter what you do, we want you to be healthy and happy and be able to get off the floor and on the floor in emergencies or with your grandkids, and be able to walk outside and step back inside with ease. So this is a huge topic. You'll hear more about this in future episodes. I think that's it for us today. Yeah. We want to remind you about our upcoming retreat, January.
Yeah, we'd like to go on retreat in January.
I go on a personal retreat in January. So you all can come. I'll tell you about that too. But in June.
Yes, June. First week of June
in Sedona. Check out our website for details, but it's going to be a fantastic time. And we've already got signups. We're so excited. And we'd love to see you there, where we can incorporate more of these movement exercises and mindfulness practices and being in nature together, and create that presence that we keep talking about. So
yeah, and support the foundation that receives those tools, right? It isn't just learning the tools. It's what we talked about.
Putting it into practice. And another thing, we'd love for you to rate and review us. So please go to your favorite podcast platform, write a review, click 5 stars, click 10 stars if they offer 10, and tell the world what you think about us, and share this podcast with your friends and family. And we'll see you next time on Rise and Thrive, and take care of each other. And don't forget to take care of yourself.
Namaste.
Thanks for tuning in to Rise and Thrive, a podcast by Vital Age Wellness Coaching. If you found this episode meaningful, please rate, review, and share it with someone who might need it. For upcoming retreats and to join the Vital Edge Wellness community, head to vitaledgewellnesscoaching.com. Let's rise and thrive together.